What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of After the Movie. It's been quite a little while since I've done one of these, especially one of these more retro ones, but I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it. And also because when I was on my friend Big Jack Films YouTube channel, we both kind of came to an agreement where I do an After the Movie on something, and he would do something like that for another movie, which will be quite fun to see his reaction to something. So I decided to one-up him. I was going to do 2 movies, and he's going to do 1 movie. So it's kind of a little agreement we had where we're just like, okay, I'll watch this movie and talk about it if you watch this movie and talk about it. So today I'm going to be talking about 2 movies. This is one where I've wanted to see for quite a while, and the other movie is just something he had me just watching so I can talk about it. So that one will be fun too. So I'm going to do like 2 videos today, or I might just record one now and then post one for tomorrow. So I haven't decided. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. But anyway, so for today's video, we're going to go a little bit retro. We're going to travel back to the 1990s, and we're going to be talking about the Walt Disney film, The Three Musketeers. This one was directed, I believe, by Stephen Herrick. It stars Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Chris O'Donnell, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself, one of my all-time favorite actors, Tim fucking Curry. Oh my god, is Tim Curry amazing in this movie. He is the main reason I wanted to watch this movie. I'm like, okay, Tim Curry as the villain in a Three Musketeers movie. Oh boy, what delicious scenery-chewing performance are we going to get today? And we do get a good one. Not my favorite of Tim Curry's performances, but my god, does he have fun with this one. And just every time he's on screen, you just can't take your eyes off him because there's just something about this guy. Like, he can do, like, he can be scary, he can be really funny. Whether it's a good a quote-unquote good or bad movie, Tim Curry always makes it better. It doesn't matter what the source material is, Tim Curry brings his A-game to everything and finds some way to make it more entertaining. I mean, you look at the movie Congo. He plays a character named Herkimer Homolka, and he has the most laughably cheesy accent I've ever seen, and it's just like, you're really going with that, but he cracks me up. Like, I really love him as an actor, big fan of him, so I had to watch this movie. The main reason I want to watch it was just for Tim Curry, but also because I was kind of in the mood for something that was a bit of a swashbuckling adventure. You don't really get movies like this nowadays. The closest we had was Pirates of the Caribbean, but again, that franchise kind of went downhill after the second movie, I feel like. But this is something in the 90s. I'm like, okay, I kind of miss this. There's no CGI, it's all practical stuff, and again, without like the CGI and everything, I think things can seem a little bit slower, but I think overall my experience after watching this was I had fun with it. It's definitely something that I feel is pretty underrated. You don't really hear too many people talking about it. Like, there's, compared to something else that came in the 90s, like, was it the Mark of Zorro, the Antonio Banderas movie? Like, that's one that people still talk about to this day. The Three Musketeers is something that kind of just what goes a little bit under people's radars, and I'm kind of surprised. It has a pretty solid cast of actors. Obviously, Oliver Platt, Chris O'Donnell, Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland are pretty talented actors. But this one, like I said, falls under the radar. It was made basically after Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves came out and was a big success, so Disney decided to pull the resources together and have something along the lines of that. So you get your swordplay, you get your romance, you get your cheesy, over-the-top Tim Curry villain performance, which is the main reason to watch this thing. Some nice, pretty-looking locations, and some okay action sequences. I think the action sequences are a bit slow, but the main actors are what sell this movie. I think without the actors involved, you got some, like, no names without any charisma, this movie would probably have fallen a lot flatter than it is. Because, again, it's nothing really new or groundbreaking. It is a pretty cliched movie. You can pretty much see everything coming a mile away, but there are some things that set it apart. Like I said, Tim Curry for sure. Like, every bit of scenery. Like, he plays the Cardinal this time around, and his whole plan is to overthrow the King of France. First, he starts out by like plotting some conspiracy, and he gets the Musketeers disbanded, and he's trying to find some way to kill the king, so then he can assume the throne. And like I said, every scene he's in, just his cheesy villain one-liners to his cheesy, like, cape moving thing that he does. Just, God, I love him in this movie. Like, just every sinister thing, he is, like, really kind of creepy, too, at times. Like I said, Tim Curry is the main reason to watch this movie. But what was interesting, too, upon watching this thing is, like, as soon as the movie starts, you get the top billing. Like, Charlie Sheen is billed as, like, the top star in this movie. He is not the main actor. Like, for whatever reason, he gets top billing. I mean, I guess because Charlie Sheen was a big name at the time, but The person who gets more screen time than anyone else, I feel like, is Chris O'Donnell, who plays the young D'Artagnan, who is obviously the fourth. He's the fourth Musketeer, because originally there were the three. You know, you got Kiefer Sutherland, you have Charlie Sheen, and you have Oliver Platt, who's more of the comedic one, who has his cheesy one-liners. I really like Oliver Platt. I like him in this. I liked him in Lake Placid, and I really liked him as Jimmy King in Ready to Rumble. Kiefer Sutherland, of course, is an extremely talented actor in movies such as Lost Boys. He was good on 24, and pretty much anything he's into. And Charlie Sheen, of course, is really talented too. He definitely has a little bit of Charlie Sheen-isms in the movie. Of course, he's a bit of a womanizer, like you've seen pretty much everything that Charlie Sheen does. And again, there's a lot of fun to be had with this film. The action sequences, I feel like, could have been a little bit better. And again, it is a very cliched movie, but it's a fun cliched movie. You want your swashbuckling adventure, you got it. You got some likable actors in that. You also have this kind of running joke with Chris O'Donnell's character, D'Artagnan, who has this guy who's chasing after him at the beginning of the movie and all the way towards the end of it. And my goodness, this guy sounds like Lemon Grab from Adventure Time, was just like, unacceptable, D'Artagnan! And he's just screaming and squealing like every time he's on screen, and I was cackling quite a bit. Like, aside from Tim Curry, that was like the funniest part of the movie. Again, like I said, there are some genuinely funny moments in it, but it really doesn't like change the game or anything like that. Not that every movie has to do that, but I feel like if there was more to this film, it would hold up a little bit better. But like I said, I had fun with this thing. I got a cheesy Tim Curry performance. Like I said, I know I'm hyping him up in this movie, but because I'm a big Tim Curry fan, and if you're a Tim Curry fan, you definitely should check out this movie, mostly for him, because he is the most entertaining aspect about it. Although, I guess spoilers towards the end of it, he never really gets a good comeuppance. Like, it's kind of just like, it falls kind of flat at the ending, too. There's some decent sword fighting. Like, the sword fighting does get better as the movie goes on, and same with the action sequences, but they're pretty stale. Like, they're a little bit too slow by today's standards. I feel like because they were kind of limited back then in terms of CGI and scope. But then again, some other movies have some great action too, like Die Hard, Predator. This movie is not made by someone I'd call like an action movie director. So the action sequences could have been a lot better. Same with the sword fighting. But the sword fighting gets better towards the end of it, where Chris O'Donnell has to fight some guy who's like, I killed your father. I'm like, oh, so Chris O'Donnell is basically Inigo Montoya now from Princess Bride. But again, like I said, the actors carried this movie over its pretty predictable script. But again, like I said, it's just a fun, entertaining little movie from the 1990s. And looking at it now, it was a nice little nostalgia trip to like a different time of movies where everything's just kind of these big franchise things. This was something that was kind of, well, not as big scale. Obviously, there was some money put into it. There's some good production value. And obviously the actors play off each other quite well, and you got some talent behind this thing, but it's not like a big mega blockbuster. This is a different time of movies. But I had fun with this. I think it's worth checking out. Again, nothing groundbreaking, but it doesn't have to be groundbreaking to be an entertaining movie. I have some issues here and there. Like I said, action could have been a little bit better. It's a little bit too cliched at times, very predictable, and kind of what happens with the villain at the end of the movie. I won't give it away, even though this is a much older film. I feel like there could have been a little bit more to it, because we never really do kind of find out what happens. It's kind of left a little bit like something happens, and then it's kind of left a bit ambiguous. So there's no real clarity about what happened. So maybe there's some deleted scenes out there, but I would have liked a little bit more with it. But I'd say watch this movie. It's fun. You get your good cheesy Tim Curry performance. And yeah, so that's it for this little after the movie. I don't know what else I could really say about it. I'm a little bit rusty at doing these types of videos, so I feel like the more I record, the better I'll get. But yeah, so have you seen the Three Musketeers from the 1990s? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it some more. I got another after the movie coming up for something that was requested by Big Jack Films. And if you have any other requests on after the movies, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll try to get to them at some points. And yeah, so that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. As always, thank you so much. Take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.